You believe
Islam
he said Ryan Garcia would beat Sean O'Malley in a UFC octagon.
Hold on. Islam couldn't even beat Leon Edwards. But if Ryan Garcia would beat Sean O'Malley.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. I am your host, Justin, and I am joined today by my co-host, Elijah. And today we are going to be doing a review on Derek Lewis versus Nascimento. I'm going to probably just run down like most of the entertaining fights on the card. We'll give our opinions on it. And then we're going to give our predictions for Lerone Murphy versus Edson Barboza happening this Saturday. We're probably going to do that and the Chaos William fight in the co-main event. And I'll probably tell you a few other opinions that I have, but we won't be doing any predictions on the rest of the card. It'll just be me giving my opinion, and if he wants to throw anything in there, then he'll throw stuff in there too. So yeah, right now we are sitting pretty at 2 title defenses, and I've only won the belt and then lost it in the next prediction video, I think.
Yeah.
So that's kind of sad. I really did think that I had that in the bag with the whole Ruzaboyev versus Joaquin Buckley thing. But Joaquin Buckley ended up winning in the co-main event, and very disappointed in Ruzaboyev's performance. But you must be very happy in the performance that Joaquin Buckley gave.
I am happy. Ruzaboyev, just figuring out about him. His hype train was shut down, and I'm really happy for Buckley. I want him to get a title shot, and he's been working hard for it.
That call out of Conor McGregor was kind of odd, though. And DC even said, like, DC tweeted him afterwards, like, they were going back and forth on Twitter. And DC was just like, it was a stupid call out, and we called you out for it. Like, what are you going to do about it? Like, just shut up. Like, that's literally what he said. And it was a dumb call out. I mean, Joaquin Buckley, come on, you're not getting that Conor McGregor fight. But, I mean, shoot your shot, though. Like, you can't.
You miss 100% of the shots.
Exactly. And Ruzaboyev missed a whole bunch of shots in the fight, and Joaquin Buckley landed a whole bunch of shots in the fight. It went to decision. It was 3 rounds. Went to decision. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really much to talk about in that fight. I mean, there wasn't really like any moments where they were like, oh, stunned, rocked, stuff like that. It was really just Joaquin Buckley controlled from the outside. Ruzaboyev tried to catch him with knees and punches coming in. And then Joaquin Buckley would secure a takedown and ride out the rest of the round. So,
pretty mediocre performance by Ruzaboyev.
Yeah, it was mediocre. I feel like it was somewhat mediocre by both men. I mean, Joaquin Buckley did show that he was at a way different level than Ruzaboyev.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it obviously wasn't one of Joaquin Buckley's best performances.
I mean, just give it time, man. Joaquin Buckley is going to be the next UFC champion, almost the face of the UFC.
Man, it's hard to say that when he hasn't really beaten many top-tier guys. I mean, Vicente Luque is on the downturn of his career, and that's really his highest-profile win. So I'd have to see him beat someone a little higher up. I mean, he's ranked like 11th right now, off of beating Vicente Luque, who's like 14. I don't necessarily see Joaquin Buckley being able to beat anyone at the top, like a Rachmanov, an Edwards, an Usman. Like those kind of guys, I feel like have that fight over Joaquin Buckley. But Buckley can definitely fight guys. Ian Gary, I feel like that would be a good fight. I think Ian Gary also said that he accepted that fight for 303.
Ian Gary needs to focus on Colby Covington, because that's going to be the fight of the world.
It doesn't look like Colby Covington's actually going to have that fight. Like it doesn't look like he's going to sign the contract.
He needs to sign the contract. That would be an awesome fight, and it would help him get back up.
I think it would be an awesome fight, but I think Ian Gary is going to end up fighting someone else rather than Colby Covington. But yeah. So other shit that happened on the card. Going to the prelims real quick. Chase Hooper dominates yeah. It's a hard name to say. But yeah, he knocks him down, and the other guy was the striker. And Chase Hooper is obviously a grappler, very good on the ground, and he did get the submission, but it was one of those weird things like Chael Sonnen versus Anderson Silva, where Chael just tapped once, and then they called off the fight. The other guy tapped one time on Chase Hooper's back, and then they called off the fight. He got up, protested. He was like, come on, dude, why'd you do that? But, I mean...
Don't tap.
Don't do that. You can't touch someone when you're in a submission hold. That's going to be they're going to look at that as a tap. That's what they're going to do.
As a referee, when you're looking at that fight, the only way you could see it any other way is maybe if it's like a remember the Anthony Smith fight where we had him in the guillotine? If he's trying to put his hand towards the ground and kind of push himself or like push his head out,
Yeah.
I could be like, okay, but I don't think that was the
It's
case.
different when you just literally like slap the guy on the back.
Absolutely.
And that's
not.
what he did.
Calm.
But Chase Hooper actually knocked him down in the first round. The grappler knocked him down. It's like it was like Bryce Mitchell versus Edson Barboza all over again. When Bryce Mitchell lands a huge punch and knocks Edson down, I was like, the hell is happening right
Where
now?
does this come from?
Exactly. Some other stuff that happened. Billy Ray Goff had an awesome fight with Trey Waters. Dudes were gassed after 4 minutes. Like first round, 4 minutes in, it went to decision, and it was 3 rounds. They were gassed after 4 minutes.
After 4 minutes?
They kept throwing the entire fight. It was an awesome fight. It was sloppy. It was dirty. It was gritty, and it was amazing.
Yes.
And Trey Waters ended up winning. I really had that fight for Billy Ray Goff. But Trey Waters won. I mean, it was a back and forth. You could have given it to either guy, but I thought Billy Ray won. Some other things. Terrence McKinney knocked out in 37 seconds with a head kick by I can't pronounce the name.
Having a moment.
Raboivas. I don't remember how they pronounced it. But yeah, he's Argentinian. He's looks really good. He's 13-1 and knocked Terrence McKinney out in 37 seconds. So
good win to add to your record.
Exactly. Terrence McKinney is not like a top 15 guy, but he's knocked out some top 15 guys before. So he's one of those guys where you get a win over them, you're probably going to get a top 15 guy.
Yeah.
Moving up to the main card, we had let's see. What was the first fight? Waldo Cortez Acosta, man, put on a boring performance, but a somewhat dominant performance over Rebellis de Spain. Rebellis de Spain has a lot to work on. He's a really good striker, but man has nothing on the ground. He was 5-0 and he knocked out all of his opponents in like the first round.
Yeah.
So he came into this really confident and cocky that he was just going to knock out Waldo.
Yeah.
And then Waldo basically just took him down at will, held him up against the cage at will, did whatever he wanted.
Moves.
Exactly. And I mean, impressive by Waldo, but it was super boring. It was so boring. Alex Caceres versus Sean Woodson, on the other hand.
How was that fight?
That was not a boring fight. That was an awesome fight.
Any knockouts?
No, that went to decision too. But it was an awesome 3-round fight. Sean Woodson picked up the win once again. I would have given it to Alex Caceres. I thought he won 2 and 3. I thought Woodson won round 1. But I guess 2 was a swing round. Woodson won like the first half. Caceres won the second half. I thought Caceres did more in that round, but they gave it to Woodson. Oh well. Caceres did look really good. Woodson did look really good. They both looked awesome in that fight. So it was a really good fight. Moving up, a knockout. So Diego Ferreira ends up TKOing Rebeski in the third round. Wow. Like 9 seconds left to go in the fight. And TKO'd him because he basically he was laying it in, and then he just stopped punching him, and the ref just noticed that Rebeski wasn't moving. So then he just went, okay, stop. I thought he was dead for a second. He wasn't moving. Whoa. And it wasn't like he got knocked out like a clean like elbow land. It just kind of looked like he fainted. Like that's what it more looked like. He just passed out. He gassed himself after the first round. I mean, he had a knockdown in the first round. He knocked Ferreira down, but Diego he's a vet, man. He was able to pull it out. He was able to keep on going. He outlasted Rebeski, and Rebeski just was done. He was done after the first round. He gassed himself out, and Ferreira slowly turned the tide, started laying it on, and picked up the KO with 9 seconds left to go.
A good win for him.
It is a good win for him. Then we move up, Alonzo Menefield versus Carlos Olberg. 12 goddamn seconds, dude. It took 12 seconds for Carlos Olberg to get Menefield out there.
What?
So Menefield ran at him. Literally just started on his side, jetted at Carlos Olberg. Threw a big punch. Olberg slipped it, caught him, clean out. Just knocked him.
Fight's over?
No, knocked him to the ground. Laid in a couple more, probably unnecessary.
So basically what Ben Askren should have did to Jorge Masvidal.
Yes, pretty much. I mean, it was almost an identical thing. 12 seconds. Carlos Ulberg is now, I think, like 12th in the division. That's a future champ. That's a guy that I see knocking out at least 2 more guys, and then they're going to give him a title fight.
Casual take.
Casual take?
I don't think so. I just don't see the hype. I just don't think
In
he's
Carlos
that good.
Ulberg?
Nah.
The dude's 11-1. Now I need to pull up his record, dude. Come on. Now you're getting me fired up. Carlos Ulberg, this dude is...
He had one good fight, but it's nothing to hooray and neigh about.
All right, give me a second. I'm looking up this guy's record just to prove you wrong, because honestly, this is a future champion right here, and if you don't believe that, then you're the casual. So here's his full list. So in his first fight in the UFC, on the Dana White Contender Series, he knocks a guy out in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Mm-hmm. Then he comes up. His first fight in the UFC is against Kennedy Nzechukwu, who has been in and out of the top 15. He lost to him, knockout, second round, 3 minutes and 19 seconds. But Carlos Ulberg landed 146 strikes. Nzechukwu landed 82. So Ulberg was winning the fight. He just got caught. Then, unanimous decision against some random nobody. Then, knockout, first round, 1 minute and 15 seconds. Knockout, first round, 3 minutes and 44 seconds. Knockout, first round, 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Knockout, a rear naked choke, third round, with 1 second left in the fight. And then, just last Saturday, Alonzo Menafield, knockout, 1 minute, or 12 seconds, first round.
What weight class?
Light heavyweight.
I don't see him making it past anyone in the top 10, yet even the top 5. Man, who's he gonna beat? I don't even see him beating Jamal Hill.
Give him Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith just picked up. Dude, he knocks Anthony Smith out cold.
Anthony Smith just came off a good win. Anthony Smith is not losing.
Anthony Smith just came off of a lucky win. He came off of a guillotine that he was losing a fight in.
You could call Anthony Smith the GOAT if you wanted to.
Okay, now you're just being an idiot.
He has one of the most fights in UFC history.
Just because Anthony Smith has a lot of fights does not mean that he's going to win every fight he's in. Anthony Smith just got whooped on in his last fight before that by Khalil Roundtree.
We're talking about the present. Khalil Roundtree's on the up and up.
And so is Carlos Ulberg.
I don't see Carlos Ulberg even beating Khalil Roundtree.
Carlos Ulberg is now currently on the second longest finish streak in the UFC. He's got 5 finishes right now in a row, and it is the second longest finish streak in the UFC, right behind Rakhmonov, who I think has 6 right now. So this guy is second in finishes in a row right
Give him
now.
Alex Pereira.
Alex Pereira is the champ.
Exactly.
You can't just give him the champ right now. He's only 12.
If he's that good, give him the champ.
Okay, maybe if you give him the champ, he gets knocked out, because that's Alex Pereira we're talking about.
Give him against Jamal Hill.
Give him Jamal Hill, he knocks out Jamal Hill.
Are you
Give him
crazy?
Yuri Prohaska, he knocks out Yuri Prohaska.
Are you crazy?
Right now.
Yuri Prohaska,
Yes.
Jamal Hill.
Yes.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not
You're
crazy.
Yuri's ground game and Jamal's over. Jamal was chipping. He beat Glover. You can't just say this new upcoming guy's going to beat Jamal Hill or
Because
Yuri.
Carlos Ulberg is also an upcoming guy. Like, he's on that level with Jamal Hill. Jamal Hill's like 12-1. Carlos Ulberg is 11-1. They're on the same level right now.
Look, he fought Paul Craig.
Your point. Paul Craig... I hate that you bring in Paul Craig into everything. Paul Craig is not... Why do you even bring Paul Craig up?
Paul Craig is a stepping stone and a measurement.
And he beat Jamal Hill.
Exactly my point. He doesn't even beat Paul Craig.
He beats Paul Craig. He knocks Paul Craig out cold.
Are you serious?
He knocks everyone in the division out cold except for Alex Pereira.
There's levels to this game.
You're insane.
Are you for real?
Dude's knocking everyone out. Listen, Sergey Pavlovich was on a 6-fight knockout streak.
He lost to Tom.
Exactly. He lost to a current champion in the UFC. But he was able to knock out guys.
He wasn't champion when they fought. They were fighting for the interim.
But he knocked out guys like Derek Lewis. He knocked out guys like Curtis Blades.
Who, Pavlovich?
Yeah, Pavlovich. So we're talking.
Who lost to Curtis Blades?
What do you mean?
Who lost to Curtis Blades? Tom Aspinall. Meaning that if Tom
that was an injury. That doesn't count.
Tom Aspinall was to fight Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades would
That
would
is
take
an
the
injury.
interim belt
That is
away.
an injury. That is not a full
All I hear is
representation.
excuses.
Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez. The first time Brian Ortega gets injured, the second time Yair Rodriguez loses to Brian Ortega. So you can't take
That's
injuries.
one anomaly. That's
You
one
you
anomaly.
can't take injuries into account when you're talking about stuff like
So
this.
if you're taking injuries into account,
No, I'm taking it out of account. Injuries don't count.
exactly what I'm saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. You're saying that just because Tom Aspinall lost to Curtis Blades, that means that Pavlovich's win is less impressive.
It's not, but what it's saying is that if Tom Aspinall was to fight Curtis Blades, he's getting whooped again, and he's losing the belt. That's real talk. Curtis Blades just coming off a win. You could make that fight.
That's probably the next fight for Tom Aspinall if he doesn't get John Jones.
And Pavlovich could come in and knock out Tom Aspinall. That fight could go either way.
That fight will be, like I said last time, that fight is a 50-50 fight every time they fight. That fight will go different every time. Tom Aspinall versus Sergey Pavlovich. Either one of those could win on any given day. I think Tom Aspinall, as long as he doesn't get injured, beats Curtis Blades every single time.
But he doesn't beat Pereira.
Okay, this is not what we're talking about. No, whoa. Tom Aspinall
does not beat Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira will become 3-division champ.
Bro, Tom Aspinall takes Alex Pereira down in 2 seconds and chokes him unconscious.
It doesn't work like that. He just become a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Did you not see his last fight at 300?
By knocking someone out, he gets a black belt. That's not how it works.
His ground and pound.
No, dude, that's not how it works.
Did you see his scramble with Izzy in their first UFC fight? His scrambles?
I do not care about two kickboxers having a jiu-jitsu match in the middle of an octagon. That does not mean anything. Alex Pereira will get taken down and submitted in under 30 seconds by Tom Aspinall.
Listen, Alex Pereira knocks out John Jones.
No,
and
he does not.
If he knocks out John
Jones does the same thing Tom Aspinall does.
Tom Aspinall.
No, Tom Aspinall and John Jones both walk across that octagon, grab Alex Pereira, and take him down and submit him in under 30 seconds. John Jones did that to Cyril Gain.
Alex Pereira beats Cyril Gain.
No, he doesn't. He's literally like
Alex
60
Pereira
pounds
is
less.
Basically undefeated in the UFC. Basically.
Alex Pereira is like 50 pounds less than all three of those guys that we listed.
He can easily make 240, 250, 260 with the right bulk. He's knocking all of them out.
No, he is not. He's
Alex
getting
Pereira
taken
might
down.
Be one of the greatest UFC fighters we've ever seen.
This is getting so clipped. This is getting clipped,
if
and
Alex
it's going
Pereira
everywhere. I'm making this a clip.
Listen, keep this on record. If Alex Pereira wanted to, he could simultaneously be 3-division champ.
No. He's never making it back down to middleweight.
He beats DDP,
but he's never gonna make it.
He keeps the belt. He keeps the belt at light heavyweight. He knocks out John Jones, knocks out Aspinall, knocks out Sergey Pavlovich, and he knocks out Blades.
Ridiculous. Dude weighs 130, and you're saying that he's gonna knock out 160 pounders. These dudes who know how to wrestle.
130, 160, 2.
No, these dudes are gonna walk across the octagon, grab a hold of him, take him down, and Alex Pereira is gonna have no clue what to do.
Do you know how grappling works?
You have never seen Alex Pereira fight a grappler, dude.
I have.
Name one. Go.
Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland's a wrestler.
No, he
just chooses to use his hands.
Yes, and he never tried to shoot for a takedown once.
But that's
Name
his
me
fault.
one time that Alex Pereira fought a grappler. A guy who's known for grappling. Go for it. Can't say Jan Blachowicz. He's a K1 kickboxer. He's not a grappler.
He's a grappler.
He's not a grappler. He's a K1 kickboxer.
You could say Yuri because Yuri choked out Glover, and Glover's mostly a grappler.
Glover was beating Yuri Prohaska that entire fight on the ground.
He got choked out. That was inexperience on his hand.
Glover inexperienced? No, that was just Glover getting gassed in the 5th round of a fight.
No excuses.
That is a good excuse for a 42-year-old.
So then how did Pereira knock out Yuri if Yuri's younger?
Because he caught him with something. He literally just caught him in the middle of a fight. But that is not what I'm saying. I'm saying that Alex Pereira has not fought a grappler yet.
You know who Alex Pereira loses to? The winner of the main event, Derek Lewis. He knocks him out cold.
That, I agree, because any heavyweight on the roster would knock Alex Pereira out cold.
You're crazy.
No, I'm not crazy.
And Derek Lewis?
Any heavyweight.
And Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis would knock Alex Pereira out.
You couldn't even say that with a straight face.
No, Derek Lewis would knock Alex Pereira out.
You sound
easily.
crazy. You sound crazy.
Absolutely easily.
No.
Any
Derek Lewis doesn't even have a good enough ground game to even go against
Yes,
Alex
he
Pereira.
does. Derek Lewis, if you watch the Nascimento fight, Derek Lewis was throwing a grappler around. Nascimento is known for his grappling,
It's heavyweight.
and Derek Lewis was throwing him around just anywhere.
Not strong enough.
Dude is 50 pounds heavier than Alex Pereira. You think Alex Pereira is...
Alex Pereira.
I'm done with this conversation. I'm done with this. I'm waving the white flag. This is a ridiculous conversation.
Casual.
Alex Pereira gets beat on the ground or on the feet by any top 15 heavyweight.
You sound crazy. That's not true.
No, it's true.
Alex Pereira should be ranked number 1 pound for pound, if anything. He beats everybody. Everybody.
Islam Makhachev beats Alex Pereira.
You're crazy. No.
Islam Makhachev takes Alex Pereira down and chokes him out in under 2 minutes.
No.
This is the same conversation we were just having. You believe
Islam
he said Ryan Garcia would beat Sean O'Malley in a UFC octagon.
Hold on. Islam couldn't even beat Leon Edwards. But if Ryan Garcia would beat Sean O'Malley.
No, he wouldn't.
He would.
He would take a leg kick and then he would
Terrence
faint.
Crawford versus Sean O'Malley.
Okay, Terrence Crawford weighs 30 pounds heavier than Sean O'Malley, so that's never going to happen.
Sean O'Malley's walk-around weight is 160, and Terrence Crawford is about, 170?
Terrence Crawford is not going to... Terrence Crawford is the one boxer that I'd say could actually fight in the UFC and do good.
Tank is young enough?
I'm not even taking that. And I'm talking about Ryan Garcia versus Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley lands a leg kick and then takes him down and chokes him out under 2 minutes.
So what if he dodges a leg kick, he comes in, gets hit with an uppercut, and gets...
Sean O'Malley is also good at boxing, so you can't just say...
He's good at kickboxing.
No,
he's
yes,
not good at boxing.
Exactly, which is better distance management than boxing. It's different range. So to say that...
Ryan Garcia's 25, he's younger, he can learn these things.
Dude, just because Ryan Garcia is a very good boxer does not mean that Sugar Sean O'Malley... He's
not only a very good boxer, he's a very good athlete.
Ryan Garcia could probably knock out a 1-0 UFC fighter, or like a 1-0 MMA fighter. He could probably do that. He could probably knock him out cold.
Ryan Garcia could probably knock out Ilya Taporia.
All right, moving up the card, we've got Derek Lewis versus Nascimento, and that fight was exactly how I predicted on the last episode. It was Derek Lewis getting a knockout sometime within the 5 rounds, and it was actually in the 3rd round, 49 seconds.
Did you
in.
have Derek Lewis? I could have sworn you
we
had
both
Nascimento.
No, we both had Derek Lewis.
Okay. What was the one that was like the breaker?
That was Buckley versus Rosaboyev, which we already covered, so I just skipped it.
All right.
But yeah, so Derek Lewis gets a knockout. It was a 50-50 fight most of the time. I mean, they just kind of hugged each other up against the cage for most of it. Derek Lewis would try to throw, Nascimento would dodge, then they'd hug some more. But Derek Lewis was kind of throwing him around a bit. And then he was able to get the knockout in the 3rd round. So it was exactly what we predicted. I just don't think Nascimento was at that level yet. I don't think he was ready for someone like Derek Lewis. But now I want to talk about the fact that Derek Lewis might be going to the WWE soon. He is in talks with the WWE to go and wrestle for the WWE.
That would be tough. I could see him winning like a tag team title.
That would be,
or kind of being like a. He could team up with Mark Henry.
That's Mark Henry's in AEW right now, so I don't think that would be an option.
Oh, brother.
But Derek Lewis did say that he wanted to put on like the full gold dust face paint and gold dust bodysuit. And then I was like, dude, you're the same dude that takes your pants off because your balls were hot. You're going to put on a fucking latex bodysuit and wrestle? You're going to be sweating your ass off, dude.
Yes, it's going to be tight.
It would be tight. But no, don't do the gold dust thing. Just go in there. It would be a lot of fun to see him win the tag titles with like a Braun Strowman. Like, you know who Braun Strowman is?
Yeah, I know who Braun Strowman
I think that would be like a fun tag team. And I think that they would probably put the tag team belts on them. But I don't want to get too many people upset right now that we're talking about WWE. I love it. You don't have to love it. It's whatever. But Derek Lewis might end up going to the WWE sometime soon. So that would be a lot of fun to see that happen.
It's TKO.
It's TKO.
Same company.
It's same company now. We got to get used to seeing both content switching over. But don't worry, guys. The UFC is not going to become scripted combat. And the WWE is not going to become unscripted combat.
You truly can't script combat.
No.
You can't.
It's not going to happen. You're not going to see the crossover that you think is going to happen. Your worst case scenario in your head, it's not going to happen.
Scripting comes... You can only say there's a script if there's like a corrupt judge or... like the fight goes to decision and the judges say something crazy. That's the only time you can say a script. But a knockout's a knockout, unless it's Jake Paul.
If the UFC, you'll notice if the UFC becomes scripted, you'll be able to notice. It's not that it won't be that hard to tell. Like it's not gonna happen. Don't worry, it's not.
The Strickland fight.
The max you're gonna see is like NXT coming to the Apex. You're gonna see UFC fighters showing up at WWE shows. That's the max you're gonna see. It's not going to be this big thing where they're going to start doing scripted fights in the UFC. You guys are going crazy.
If Conor McGregor wins the belt, you'll definitely see him in WWE.
Yeah, probably. 100%. But he'll probably... And you probably won't see much of the other way around. So if you don't like WWE, you won't have to see any of it because it will probably be all UFC guys going to WWE and not the other way around. So if you really hate WWE that much, it's really not much you have to worry about.
It's funny because CM Punk went in there and... he didn't give up too much of a performance. Dana wasn't happy, but he went in there like a man, and now he's back. He essentially works for the same group, but doesn't work for the same group, and it's just like CM Punk did it, and it will never happen again.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see many WWE fighters going over to UFC. It's just not going to happen, other than Randy Orton showing up at the UFC event to be there with Joaquin Buckley because they were both from St. Louis.
Hey. Everyone loves Randy Orton.
Everyone
loves Randy Orton.
No, it is really funny because I was actually looking through, like, if you go on, like, Ariel Helwani's Instagram and you look at, like, some of his, like, wrestling podcasts that he does with, like, wrestlers, everyone in the comments goes, oh, I don't want to see this. Get this out my feed. Like, why are you you're a traitor? Like, no one wants to see this, like, kid stuff. And then you see, like, the TKO brand post stuff or, like, UFC posts, like, oh, SmackDown here, then UFC, then Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
And then people in the comments will be like, oh, no one cares about the WWE. Why are you posting WWE stuff? Like, get this off my feed again. Stuff like that. But then, like, Randy Orton shows up on the UFC thing, and you go into the comments, and it's just like, yo, Randy Orton's my dude. Like, I love Randy Orton. Like, Randy Orton's so sick. It's like, dude... pick a side. Like you're just gonna pick that one dude that you like in WWE and then not complain when you see him on UFC content, but complain when you see anything else.
Yo, people are just such like complainers. Like, stop complaining.
Really. Like, if you don't like WWE, if you don't like the content of WWE on my channel, then just don't watch it. Watch our MMA stuff. That's why we have multiple videos. That's why we just don't do like a two thing for this podcast where we do like half MMA, half WWE. It's not like that.
Listen, if you're coming onto the channel, we have lots of information. There are plenty of episodes on both sides for you to be able to catch up, for you to be able to get to where we are, and for you to be able to truly understand what the podcast is about. We have plenty of enough shorts for you guys to go in there if you have low attention span and you just want to kind of quickly get into it. We have everything. We have everything basically. We have everything. So all you got to do is just kind of watch and then come, follow through.
And we would love to have you. Please like, share, and subscribe. We're not ending the video yet, but I know that somehow I guess that helps, and it annoys some people, but it helps in other ways. Just a like, a share, a subscribe. It helps. It does good for the analytics, and it helps us out. So if you really enjoy it, please do that for us. But now we're going to get into the predictions for Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. And then we're also going to do the Chaos William versus Harris fight. But before that, I just want to mention Adrian Yanez is my second favorite fighter. Actually, probably third now. Ilia Topuria is my second favorite now. Yanez is probably my third favorite now. I love him. I think he's going to win against Salvador. But man's taken some hard losses lately. So praying for you, Yanez. I really like you. You're a cool dude, and you responded to me on Instagram one day. He did. Yeah, I posted or I commented on one of his Instagrams, and he responded to me in the comments. So that was really cool. That's why he's my second. Well, that's not why. He was already one of my favorites just because of his fight style. He's a really good fighter, and he's got awesome knockouts and stuff like that. So, Garimbo is also fighting. That's one guy that's on The Rock's like fantasy draft team. Like The Rock always like posts him and does stuff for him. So Garimbo's really cool. I think Garimbo's probably gonna win too. He's got a really good record. Abus versus Worley Alves. That's gonna be another really good fight. Abus. I think that fight probably goes to Abus. Probably gets a knockout. And then another one to shout out, Tom Nolan. He lost in his last fight, but I really like Tom Nolan. I watched him on the Contender Series last year. He's a cool guy. I follow him on Instagram. He seems pretty cool. But yeah, we'll get into the predictions now. So, Chaos Williams versus Harris. Who do you have and why?
I'm going to go Chaos Williams off of the name of Chaos, and I do believe that chaos makes chaos happen.
God damn it. You said Harris before the podcast started, and now you're switching it to Williams.
Yeah.
I got Williams, too. I'm not picking Harris. Harris has, I think, only one loss in the UFC, and it's to Shavkat Rakhmonov. And he's got 4 wins other than that, so he is pretty good. I mean, he's no slouch, but Chaos Williams, 14-3. Bunch of knockouts. He's lost 2 fights against pretty high-level guys, Randy Brown and who else was it? It was another really good guy. Give me a second. I'll pull it up. Oh, and it's Michel Pereira. I don't know how I forgot that. Yeah, but Randy Brown and Michel Pereira. So those are 2 pretty high-level guys. I mean, Michel Pereira a little higher than Randy Brown, but Randy Brown, the loss to Randy Brown was a split decision. And his last 2 fights were split decisions. So I don't know if Chaos Williams really has this fight in the bag. But I mean, he gets a lot of knockdowns, he gets a lot of KOs. Recently he's been struggling against the higher level guys. But Harris, Anaconda choke, unanimous decision, got knocked out by Rakhmonov. Knockout, Anaconda. So he seems more of a submission guy, and Chaos Williams is more of a striker. Yeah. So, but Chaos Williams knows how to grapple too. Don't get me wrong. I mean, in one of his fights, he had 5 takedowns. So they probably both know how to grapple pretty good. So that's why I'm going for Harris. It's just because I could see the grappling kind of just it. You know.
So you're going for Harris, not Chaos?
No, I'm going for Chaos. Sorry, I meant to say Chaos. But, so yeah, we both got Chaos on that one. So now we'll move up and we'll give our prediction for Edson Barboza versus Lerone Murphy. Who do you have and why?
I got Edson Barboza because Barboza's just the GOAT, man. You can never count him out, and like a casual like you wouldn't know too much about him, but I know a lot about him, and I got Edson Barboza.
I wouldn't know too much about him. I could tell you like his last 5 fights.
Oh, brother.
Dude, he beat Sadiq Youssef in his last fight. He did get dropped in that fight, so I think in the first round.
I did have Sadiq Youssef. That was at 300, right?
No. That was Sadiq Youssef fought Diego Lopez at 300. Oh. Edson Barboza and Sadiq Youssef fought back in like September of last year. But Edson got dropped in that fight to Sadiq Youssef. He got dropped in the fight against Bryce Mitchell. I think he's getting dropped by Lerone Murphy. 13-0-1. Lerone Murphy is on his way up. He's been struggling lately against some of the higher level guys. His draw was in his first fight in the UFC. But I got Lerone Murphy. If you got Edson, I got Lerone Murphy. I do think that Edson is someone that you can never count out. I think that Edson is very good on the feet. Yeah. He called for the BMF title fight against Max Holloway. Dude, you're not getting that fight. But it's a good call out. I mean, you are a BMF. You're just not on the Max Holloway level. But yeah, I think Lerone Murphy is on his way up, and I think Edson Barboza eventually is going to hit a wall. I mean, he's been winning a couple since the Bryce Mitchell loss.
Wait, I have a question.
Go for it.
So do you think that the BMF title should be served? Do you think it should be like regulated as like a regular championship, like title defenses and like these things sort of count toward a certain level of prestige? I mean, it's not going to hold prestige as like a regular belt, but
I think it still has to be between like high level guys, like guys at the top of the card or guys that are really notable, like Diaz and Jorge Masvidal, Gaethje, Poirier, Gaethje, Holloway. Those are all like big names, big guys at the top of the card. So I think you keep it to that. I don't think you throw an Edson Barboza in there just for fun. I think you got to keep it to guys that are really like high up on the card and popular. I think the next BMF title fight should probably be McGregor versus Holloway.
They should have a bunch of like BMFs. Like you could be the BMF of like, they should have it like the BMF of each division. Like because there's a lot of divisions and not many people are.
But then does that make the BMF title less special? I think it would.
No,
I think it would. No, I think it would make it a little less special. Maybe you do like a heavyweight BMF and then like a lighter weight BMF. Because like with Holloway, you could probably do like a Holloway versus Sugar Sean fight at 145, and then if Sugar Sean wins, he could bring that down to 135, and then he could fight someone at like flyweight, and then they might be
an open weight belt.
Yeah, it's like an open weight belt, but like it'd be really hard to get that belt all the way up to heavyweight. So I think you kind of like have one at heavyweight, and then you have one at the lighter weights. And you kind of don't let those two belts cross each other. You kind of have like the heavyweight BML.
Simultaneously both champion.
That would probably have to be someone like at middleweight.
Yeah.
Like someone at middleweight could probably win both of those, but like you kind of would want to keep those separate. But I want to keep it just to one BMF title belt. I feel like that makes it super special.
What if there's like a guy, like I don't know, like what if Shavkat, he was like, okay, let me get a BMF title shot. He wins the BMF title before the championship, and then he holds it. He is like a BMF.
He is a BMF. I was gonna say that's definitely a BMF. Like he is a bad
Yeah, and then like he might win the championship, and then he unifies it. But there might be, what if he doesn't win a championship? He just holds the BMF forever, retires with the BMF.
I mean, I think that's one of the guys where he's not a notable name, but he is a BMF, so you probably could throw him in there. But like, I don't know. We'll see what they do with the BMF title. I think that Holloway should probably put it on the line against Ilia Topuria and Ilia Topuria's belt, so winner gets both simultaneously. So I think that's probably what they're gonna do. But I feel like you don't do that. You just let
you have to.
No, I feel like you let Max hold that title so that if he loses to Ilia, he still has the BMF title to go and defend against like a Conor McGregor. Now if Ilia gets the belt, the BMF belt, now it's just going to merge with the featherweight title, and then it's just going to be whoever's the featherweight champ is also going to be the BMF champ until eternity. Because who would put the BMF title on the line without the featherweight title? You know what I mean? Like if one person holds both, they're kind of just one title now. Because no one's going to defend the BMF title without defending the...
And that's why I think Max wins and goes to 155 and gets 3 belts.
That'd be cool. I'd be down. As a Max Holloway fan, as him being my number one guy, that'd be fun for me. Do I want to see it? I feel like it could get things a little messy with the BMF title. I kind of like that being not a championship. Like, kind of just a fun thing. But back to what we were saying, though. Edson Barboza beat Sadiq Youssef in his last fight. He also beat Billy Quarantino in the fight before that, and then he had 2 losses, Bryce Mitchell and Giga Chikadze. It's a really hard name to say. He had the knockout over Shane Burgos. He's basically been winning 2, losing 2, winning 2, losing 2, winning 2, losing 2. And he won 2.
Lost 2.
I think he's going to lose now. He's won his last 2. I think he's going to go back to losing again.
Probably so.
So you have Edson, I have Lerone Murphy, and we'll see how these predictions turn out. We had the KS Williams fight as both KS Williams, so that's a wash. So it's all going to come down to the main event for that title.
Yes.
You are now a 3-time defending champ?
3-time defending champ. Is this like a record?
I think it is, because Jake just lost his pro wrestling belt on the last episode. So Tyler's the champ right now. So I think you have the longest title defenses on the hardcore and the casual channel. So
the longest title reign.
Yeah, well, you're gonna lose it next week when Lerone Murphy knocks out Edson Barboza.
Hey, acknowledge me.
Acknowledge him, yeah, sure. So yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a fun fight. I don't know. I hate doing predictions on when it's gonna end or what it's gonna end by. It's either gonna be Lerone Murphy by knockout in like the first round, or it's gonna be Lerone Murphy by decision. I don't think he knocks Edson out once it gets to like 2, 3, 4, 5. I think Lerone Murphy he's got to work on his gas tank a little bit. It's his first main event, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it's his first main event. So this is the first time of him going 5 rounds. He might get gas later, which means he won't get the knockout, but I do still think that he'll win by decision if he makes it that late. Right. So do you have Edson by knockout?
I have Edson by knockout. And who's the fight under them?
That was Chaos.
No, the fight under them.
That was Garimbo.
And who?
Some random guy that I don't know.
I'll take Garimbo just to add on the chances, and you'll take the other guy.
No, I won't take the other guy. I got Garimbo too.
Yes,
We're not doing this. We're doing Lerone Murphy versus Edson Barboza. That's it. You have Edson. I have Lerone. That's that. I'm winning that title next week. You want to just talk about Usyk versus Fury real quick?
We'll get out of here. Usyk versus Fury coming up this Saturday. I got Usyk winning that fight, maybe on like a 10-8, 10-9 scorecard. I just don't. I see it being a good fight. You?
I think Usyk by knockout. I think that after watching Tyson Fury lose to or beat Ngannou, I don't see him now winning against a guy like Usyk, who's on a tear right now in the heavyweight division of boxing, in one of the 20 heavyweight divisions in boxing. Yeah. But yeah, no, I got Usyk. I got Usyk by knockout sometime, probably like the 5th or 6th round. I think it's gonna be 12 rounds. Yeah, Fury going 12 rounds seems kind of crazy at this point now after watching that last fight.
There will be a knockdown by round
definitely
8.
Definitely a knockdown by round 8. No, yeah, just after watching Ngannou knock down Fury and then watching Ngannou get knocked out by Joshua, it's just, I mean, you can't really do the math like that. I know it's like MMA math. There's also boxing math. You can't really
math is math.
Yeah, but I mean, you kind of got to look at it from that perspective, and I really don't see Fury being able to beat Usyk. Fury better be coming way more prepared than he was for the Ngannou fight. That's all I'll say.
None of that skitty bopping and glove malfunctioning.
Exactly. So I think that is good. We've been talking for 42 minutes, so I think we're good to go. You got any last words to say before we close out, champ?
One more title defense on the way.
Yeah.
Hold me
We'll
accountable.
see about that. So we got some merch. It's not for sale yet. We've got the hardcore and the casual black shirt with the purple logo, like the main logo. We've got our pro wrestling shirts. If you want to check those out, go watch the last video. We were wearing those in that. And then I've got the MMA shirt. If enough people say they want to buy merch, then maybe I'll make it a store and I'll set some stuff up. But for now, this is just ours, just for our entertainment, our fun, just to get it out there where it be our own posters. Yeah. But yeah, if enough people want it, maybe I'll do it. So let me know if you want one. We'll see about it. So thank you, champ. Thank you, Elijah. You've been great on this episode as the casual. I mean, you really lived up to your casual name this episode. I really appreciated that, lots of clips coming out for that. So thanks for being such a casual. Really brings me back to the Target days, man. Really brings me back to those days.
Target days are not over.
No, not over. Now we've just moved it into my living room. So, yeah, so thank you guys for watching the hardcore and the casual
podcast.
Thank you guys for watching the Hardcore and the Casual podcast. I have been your host, Justin. This has been my co-host, Elijah, the champion of the Hardcore and the Casual MMA podcast. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out.